I
Like,
want to have like a 5-minute conversation about the band scene, okay? Because I got so much to say about it. Because that is equally like one of my. It is just my favorite scene in the whole
yes,
show, okay? Because the
yes,
band comes out of nowhere and you're just like so confused the entire time.
yes. I'm gonna be
But
honest.
oh my gosh.
I think I'm gonna use the band song as the intro song for this podcast episode, just because I just really want to use it. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Random Banter podcast. This is episode 80. We're in the eights.
Eight,
80.
88?
80. Just 80.
Oh,
Just
just
80.
80. Just
No,
80.
just 80.
Holy smokes.
We got a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, keeping with the theme of technical difficulties, I was going to record on my computer. The reason the angle looks weird is because I'm on my laptop now. My webcam just died. I'm hoping the audio is good, but knowing my track record of the past couple episodes, it's probably not going to be. Here, let me change the angle a little bit so I don't keep getting myself cut off. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, first off, we have Ben. Hi, Ben. How you
Hi,
doing?
hi everyone. How's it going?
I'm
Can
hoping.
can they see me? I think this
Yeah,
is my first
yeah.
episode being on camera,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. I don't know. This is
Yeah. Hey guys. I'm Ben, I guess. I don't know, you
yeah.
probably know me.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
continue.
Um, so yeah, I'm really hoping that this episode works because last episode had so many technical difficulties in it, and I love Jonah so much for powering through. I felt so bad. Um, but yeah, so for those of you who don't know, every 10 episodes, I always do an episode that's only based around one topic, and I call it Oops, All Blank. And I was trying to think of a topic for this episode because I've already done a couple of ones that I wanted to do. And for this one, I thought of something that would be a pretty good idea. So over Christmas break, Ben was talking to me about this show called Severance on Apple TV Plus, and he was like, "You should watch it," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll get around to it." And I watched it, and oh my god, what a show! Like, I cannot recommend this show to anyone who hasn't seen it enough. Like, I loved every part of it, and I'm normally not a thriller dude. Obviously, this episode will have spoilers for season 1 and 2 of Severance. Ben?
This was recorded before season 3 came out.
Yes.
Assuming that they make a season 3, which they better.
They
I
said it wouldn't take.
swear.
They said it wouldn't take 2 years for that. But yes, if anyone wants to watch Severance, has any idea of watching Severance, is just looking for a pretty. It's pretty short. It's 16 episodes, 2 seasons. Um, like, give it a watch. It's a good show, good watch. And my God, you'll binge it 100%.
It's
It's
I
so
may have
bingeable.
watched it in like a week,
Oh,
which
I did too.
for 2 seasons with hour-long episodes, you should not watch that in a
Yes.
week. But oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
so good. I couldn't put it down.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know anything about Severance, Ben, you want to give them a little brief synopsis about like the kind of give them circumstances, like what's going on?
Yeah, so Severance is takes place in a world, and it follows our main character Mark. Okay, and Mark's a cool guy. He's pretty chill,
It's
just
played
love
by
him life.
Adam Scott, by the way.
Oh, I am number one
Adam
Adam Scott
Scott,
fan.
he is so good. He is
He's
literally so good.
incredible. What was so we watched Parks and Rec together,
Yes.
and we loved him in Parks and Rec. He was
Yes.
so much fun. But what was so cool was seeing him in like such a serious role in
Yeah,
Severance. Like that was such a new experience for me, and he knocks it out of the
he
park.
really does.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
genuinely one of the best performance. Like everyone in that show, I didn't know any of the actors except for Adam Scott and obviously like Christopher Walken. They
Right.
all do a phenomenal job. But
Oh
anyway,
my gosh.
keep going, Ben, with the
Um,
synopsis.
so Mark works at this place called Lumen, okay? And Lumen is this big company. And at Lumen, you can do this special procedure called the severance procedure. And basically what it is they implant a chip into your brain and it makes it so your brain cannot remember anything while you're at work when you're outside of work, or anything from your real life whenever you're at work. So basically kind of creates two separate personalities, one where while you're at work and then one while you're not at work.
It basically
And
makes
so
an entire consciousness that is a separate person but is still you. If you're confused, if you're listening to this and you're confused, it's okay. It's really confusing.
And so then, as Mark is working there, he's starting to realize, oh wow, Lumen's up to some crazy shenanigans. Maybe they're not the best ever. And so then he like starts to like try and like
Figure
tear them
stuff out.
down, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
And it gets really good.
It
And I guess
does.
that's our initial non-spoiler talk before we get into all the spoiler talk.
Yes, that is the non-spoiler talk. And I understand that if someone watches this and you're like, this makes you want to watch Severance, feel free. You can watch the spoilers if you want. But yeah, I just fair warning. But because this is our first time watching it after I've fully seen the show.
Yes, I have not been able to talk to you at all about
That's why I was going to talk to you about it, and then I was like, no, wait, I can make content out of my interactions with my brother.
Okay.
But who's your favorite character?
See, that's such a
I think mine might be a bit of a out of left field, little character out of left field.
I think it depends on how I'm feeling, because I think the genuine best character is probably Mark.
Well,
He's just
yeah,
so well written.
all
and
the
it's like, he
characters,
is the main character.
all the characters are likable. There wasn't a character in the show that I
Yeah.
hated.
Well,
save
what's,
maybe like
what's
James Egan.
no, what's the name of the neighbor boss?
Oh, Harmony.
I hated her.
You
She
hated
sucks.
Harmony? What do you mean you hated
my-
Harmony?
She's the worst.
Why? I didn't mind her.
She stalked Mark the first half, and then they finally, whenever she got fired, I was like, praise everything. She's finally gone.
Praise
and then she was
Kier.
still there.
She's
Praise
gone.
Kier.
Praise Kier. She's gone.
But I think my real favorite character, by the way, is probably Mr. Milchick.
Yes, dude.
So funny.
Dude, I love him so much. Just when he comes out in the finale with just the band going like,
oh my gosh, that was life changing.
Dude, that finale was phenomenal. Like,
I want to have like a 5-minute conversation about the band scene, okay? Because I got so much to say about it. Because that is equally like it's just my favorite scene the whole show, okay?
Yes.
Because the band comes out of nowhere and you're just like so confused the entire time.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh my gosh.
I think I'm gonna use the band song as the intro song for this podcast episode, just because I just really want to use it. So if you heard marching band music coming into this and it didn't get copyright claimed, that's what it is.
That's a great idea. The thing I wanted to talk about the band scene is the things that it implies. So the whole time they're working at Lumen, they're showing all these offices, and there's only a couple workers in every office.
Yeah, we only get to see like 3, which is macro data refinement, optics and design, and then the goat one, which I don't remember the name of because it's really weird.
And so here's my thing: is all of those, they only had like at most 20 people in them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's pretty reasonable. That means there's around 60 Severance workers at this place. But then when the band comes in, there's like 100 of them.
Yeah.
And so I'm so lost. Are you telling me that Lumen has hired 100 people, severed all of them just to have their own private marching band?
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing that they had, like their department is called choreography and recreation. I don't know. I don't remember. But I think I think that like they just kind of use them if they need to entertain anyone or anything like that. Like I think whenever like when Dylan had the waffle party and there were those the people that were dressed up as the four Tempers when they came out, I think they were from choreography, or they were from like the same marching band department. Like they're not only a marching band.
Interesting.
That's
Okay.
my opinion, is that they're not only a marching band. But I am a little curious, talking about like with talking about this, like, do you think they have to reteach them how to play the instrument? Because if you have a separate new consciousness, like, do they teach them how to play the instrument? Maybe that's like their entire, that's what they do like day to day, is learn how to play an instrument, or like learn how to march or something like that.
No, like I think one of the coolest parts of Severance is the Severance procedure and thinking about like
The
all of the
logistics.
like philosophy and the
Yes.
logistics behind two separate people in one body.
Well, because it's
And so
like,
now I'm like, is it muscle memory or
I don't
like
know. Well, because Irving can play the piano, like his, I think, or no, he can paint.
interesting?
He can paint, not play the piano. What am I talking about? Like he can, excuse me, he can paint, and
Right.
his innie is a really good artist too. Like, also innie and outie is what, this is for anyone who's watching this who doesn't know anything about Severance. Innies and outies are what they call, like, innies are the Severance people because they're in the building, and outies are the non-severed version of that person who are out of the building. But I agree. I think one of the coolest things about the show is just how they bring up these questions about like, are they considered people? Like, they're the same. Like, if you don't if you don't consider your innie a person, like, they are you. And then whenever Mark was talking about reintegration, which is like this very underground procedure of reversing the severance procedure, it's only ever kind of worked on one guy, but then he kind of like died like right after. And that's how the show kind of like
I was gonna say
starts.
worked is a stretch.
Yeah, it didn't really work. It didn't really. The character's name's Petey. It didn't really work on Petey. He just kind of died because he was having like sickness and visions and whatnot. But it's like Mark was talking about how their consciousnesses would combine during this. My favorite scene in the entire show is when Mark and Innie Mark are having a conversation about,
Oh, that was with the cam recorder,
yes,
right?
like
That was
they're
so
having they
cool.
go to this cabin where you like, okay, so whenever Severance starts, it's like only on the severed floor of the building is the only place that the severed consciousness comes to light, as far as we know. But then later into the season, into season 2, you find out that there's this birthing cabin, which is screwed up if you think about it. There's this cabin that really rich people can go to, and their innies can birth the baby so they don't have to go through it. It's, when you think about it, it's disgusting. Um, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but so Mark is in this cabin and he's talking to like his sister and then another person about trying to figure out how to save his wife, who he thought was dead, but then blah 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 blah, from the from the trying to figure out how to save his wife from the building. But the way that they do it, the way that they shoot him having a conversation with himself whenever they're not in the same room, is they have him with him holding the cam recorder and like recording himself outside and then coming in, playing it, recording another one, going at, like, just all of that was just so fascinating. And the argument that Any Mark brought up, he was like, well, if you reintegrate our brains and put them together, you have 20 times more life. So it's going to be predominantly your brain, your consciousness. I'm not going to matter. And I just think that's so cool. Because, like,
I I loved that. I thought that was incredible.
it's
And
just,
like,
yeah. Because, like, Mark, like, Any Mark is his own person. He's made his own, he's had his own uh hobbies. He's fallen in love with a completely new person that Audi Mark doesn't even know. And all of that, like, does it mean something? Is it really like impactful if they reintegrate? Like, it just, I don't know. It's so
so
cool.
and then you brought up some of the like the morality behind it. So I'm kind of curious what you think about this. How do you feel like do you think the severance procedure is a moral thing to do?
No.
Because you are forcibly creating this other person, but then like what if they want to be created? It's like I don't know. It's just interesting to me.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's morally just. But then you could also make the
Okay.
argument of like, well, if two parents have a kid, that kid wasn't asked to be brought into this world. But I mean, in a sense, uh, like having a kid is like you're bringing them into this world that is awful. Like, not to be depressing or anything, but you're bringing them into this world that is awful. That kid is going to suffer. Like, everyone suffers in their life. That kid is going to have hardships. That kid is going to suffer. Granted, they're also going to have joy and laughter and everything. And typically, most of the time, in my opinion, that the joy and the laughter and the hope trumps everything else. But in Lumen's case, like in that, I think it's just the fact that they can be done away with just like that, like by just because of Lumen, and their whole sole purpose is to do what Lumen wants.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a great point.
if you have a baby, like if you have a kid, like say I have a kid, that kid's entire purpose is just to live life, not to do
Okay.
what I want it to do. Like, if I have a kid, I can't be like, all right, you're gonna staple papers for me, and that's all you have to do. That kid has free will. I think because of their lack of free will is why it's unethical. This might be the most like like the most philosophical episode we're ever
This
gonna
is
have on this.
this is really like that's what I loved about the show though, is because
Yeah.
it just made me think so much. And sure, there
Yes.
was it's an incredible story as well, but I just kept thinking about it outside of the show, and I
Well,
kept
this is
thinking about
also.
like,
Let me raise you this question. This is one that
okay,
I was watching a video on. And they brought up this question. So Mark's innie. Let's refer to Mark, like the out non-severed Mark, as Mark. Mark's innie, like the severed Mark, we're gonna call Mark S. Just
yeah,
to
that's
clear up
I was about to
confusion.
say that.
If we're ever talking about a character and we refer to them with a first initial of their last name, it's referring to the innie version of them, the version of them that works on the severed floor.
Yes.
So, whenever in season 2 they make it back to the severed floor, and then they're treated to this, like, I don't remember what it's called. Orbalt? I don't know. It's some acronym to them going outside. All the innies going
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
I don't remember what the acronym is. But it's them all going outside and like exploring the outside world in this natural park that Lumen owns, obviously. And it's just the four macro data refinement workers. And on that trip, so Mark S has a continual like romantic relationship with Helly R. Like, they slowly fall in love throughout the show. And Helly R's outside person, her outie, Helena, is the daughter to the CEO of Lumen. That is a big spoiler. But we said we were going to talk about we said we were going to talk about big spoilers.
We've spoiled worse at this point. Like
Yeah.
we said that Mark's wife's alive. Like,
Yeah.
here, wait, let me think of a good one that we could just like throw out there for some reason. Here, you can keep talking. I'll think of a good spoiler.
Okay. So Ben, my question to you is, because on that outside trip that they have, Mark and Helena, because she's pretending to be Helly R. She's pretending to be her innie the entire time. That's another big spoiler. She's pretending to be
There
her
we go.
she's pretending to be her innie the entire time. Mark
Okay.
S and Helena, who Mark S thinks that Helena is Helly R. Mark S and Helena have sex. And my thing is, if Helly R, like if he got her pregnant, if Helly R has the kid, is that Helena's kid, or is it Helly R's and Mark S's, or is it also Mark's kid? Like,
Well, I
how,
think
like, if you have a kid when you're in your severed form, is it like, is your outside severed form that kid, like, or not that kid, like, are you the parent to that kid? Because it was you that did the coitus. It was you that had the baby.
I think in that scenario, I think because if you think about it with Dylan G, he feels a responsibility to his kids, even though, um, obviously the Audi Dylan, who's actually their father, and Dylan G has never really even met his kids, but he still feels that responsibility.
Yeah.
So I think because of that example, it makes me say that if they were to have had a kid, then I think both Helly R and Helena would both be the mother of that kid, and both Mark S and Mark would both be the father, in theory, whether they feel a responsibility to that kid or not.
Okay.
Um,
Dude, this is
it's gonna get
so
so weird.
it's
It's like,
so confusing and there's so many layers to it. um
but
I
wait, do you know this is going completely off topic? Do you know where the show takes place?
No, I think it's kind of ambiguous. Well, it takes place
I
in the town of Kier, which also
I'm convinced
should
it's
say
Canada.
I don't know. It's always snowing there. I bet it's like
Yeah,
Maine.
that's what I think. That was unrelated, but anyway, continue.
So whenever we say Kier, Kier is the guy who founded Lumen. His name's Kier Egan. He's from the 1800s, and he had like an internal war against pain, and everyone in Lumen worships him like a god. Like, it's kind of
Praise
creepy.
Kier.
Praise Kier. It's kind
Honestly,
of
that
creepy.
was one of my favorite parts.
It just
It,
the cult version, like the
yeah,
cult
like
aspect of it.
they like sacrifice lambs to him.
Yeah,
They
like
oh my god,
like yeah, they sacrifice goats. They like
goats, right? Not lambs.
I don't even yeah. There are some things that I can't even begin to talk about it. But one of the things I wanted to also talk about was the cinematography of it.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, it
some
was so well done.
some of the shots are so cool. Like, whenever Mark is like phasing in between his innie and outie, I think it's in like the end of season or the middle of season 2, and he like phases through different parts of like being in the office and then being out of the office. Like, the editing and the cinematography is so good.
And I love that there's certain shots. This is I remember this being my takeaway from like the first episode before I really knew what was going on. There's just some shots where they were able to portray Mark being depressed
Yes.
so well, and I like you could just feel it by not even what was going on in the scene, but just what the scene looked like,
Yes.
and like the setting of his house, and like there's so much emotion that they were able to pull out there. I was so like incredibly impressed by that.
And again, and again, the for me, the not for me. One of the things that I liked a lot was, again, credited to the actors, their ability to switch between the two personalities, because it's the same person every time, but you can tell that it's someone different. And especially when when they're going through the elevator and they switch between the severed and normal, like when they go to work, there's like they do like a dolly zoom, which I'm going to see if I can recreate it here, because it's kind of like a it was terrible, but they do a dolly zoom on the character's face, and and you can just tell that they're switching between the two personalities, and it's so freaking good. It's just so good.
And it's so interesting because they do such a good job making the characters, because they are the same person, but at the same time they're not, and it's so cool seeing like the small differences.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
normally you wouldn't be able to tell that, but they're able to portray that so well. Like you can really tell when someone's their innie, or really tell when someone's their outie, except apparently in the beginning of season 2.
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah,
I
and
fell for that so bad.
I did too. Well, yeah, I mean, that big reveal of like Helly R actually being Helena throughout the whole thing. But then, I mean, you got to hand it to Irving B, I think. Irving B,
Yeah.
to like realizing he's like, Helly R has never been cruel. You're cruel. And he fully catches her. It just, oh my god, the twists, the turns, the suspense, every episode ending on a freaking cliffhanger.
I heard. Who's the guy who's married to Kristen Bell?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, that guy. I don't know his name. I heard about him. He was texting Adam Scott, and because he was like really into Severance, and so he would text Adam Scott and give him a message, and it'd be something like, hey, just wanted to let you know that my wife like fell out of a window and got like really injured and had to be taken to the hospital. And if you want to find out what happened to her, wait till next week to find out. It just made me laugh so hard.
Dude,
Um,
that's yeah. Just like wait till next week. I'm very happy that I waited for every episode to come out because I don't think
oh
some of those episodes I don't think I could do weekly. Just like thinking like,
yeah,
oh,
binging it was awesome.
plus, I mean, they've already got renewed for a season 3, which is going to be great,
Yes.
and we're definitely going to talk about it whenever it comes out. But just I don't know what's going to happen. There are so many unanswered questions, but again, just like with the end of the second season, like I don't know what they're going to do.
That's how I felt after the first season finale too, because the first season finale felt like, oh my gosh, they're gonna end it next episode. Oh wait, there's a whole other season after
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Like it was crazy, and like I just have no idea where they're gonna go with it. But obviously they're gonna do something.
yeah.
Like
No, I 100% agree. And obviously everything with like Gemma and like Cold Harbor and her being severed 25 different times.
oh my gosh, that was
Like
crazy.
what? I mean, you find all of that out in the second to last episode or the last episode. I don't remember. So it's like that's like one of the biggest like plot reveals of the entire series, and you find it out in like episode 7 of season 2, and you're like, okay, why are they severing her brain 25 different times? Speaking of
And
this,
yeah, we still don't really know what Lumen's up to.
I was
Either.
gonna say,
Like
well, they haven't. They have. I've been watching a couple theory videos. Like I've been watching like breakdowns and theory stuff, and I'm curious if you have any like if you have any predictions or theories, because I have one that I didn't make. I just saw someone have it, and I agree with it. Um,
I have no predictions. I feel the thing about watching Severance is I feel like the whole experience is you're just sitting there confused the whole time, and then you get to the end, you're like, that was incredible.
Yes,
And
yeah.
that's how I felt.
well, because
So I'm still no idea what's happening.
it's confusing, but also, I mean, you got to attest to the writing. Like once you get done with the
It's
season, you're like, oh,
yeah,
like
I definitely agree with that. Well, though I will say, I think if I watched season one without season two, I think I'd be way more lost than I ended up. Because season two, I feel like gives a couple more answers than
yes,
season one
yeah.
did.
Season 1 was pretty ambiguous, but it was also it was oh gosh, it was still pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's still incredible. Sorry,
Yes,
not.
I'd say in my opinion, season 2's better. Um,
I agree. I
but
think.
that
Except I
nothing.
like the season finale of one more.
I
I think.
agree. I agree. Uh, what's again? Oh,
I
the
don't,
the theory that I saw of like why they were severing her brain, um, is that they're trying. In my opinion, is that they're trying to figure out a way to eradicate pain from people. Um, because
ah.
in every one of her rooms, like if you listen to like what Gemma talks about through the entire show, like when you see clips of her, she mentions like, oh, Gemma hated like Mark mentions, oh, Gemma hated going to the dentist. Gemma hated writing thank you cards. Gemma hated flying on planes. And in every one of the rooms that we see, like there's one of her going to the dentist. There's one of her flying on a plane. There's one of her writing thank you cards over and over and over and over. Um, and then that's why the final room, Cold Harbor, is like the ultimate test to see if she feels any pain, because that was the night that
Yeah.
she quote unquote died in a car accident, left Mark, like had that big fight with Mark while he was building the baby cage. That's why like that one was like the most potent. Um
Interesting.
and also possibly from her having a like miscarriage. I don't know. I don't know if it was a miscarriage or that she just couldn't have kids. But yeah, that's one theory that I agree with. And then another theory, this one's a bit more off the rails, that I also saw. Again, I didn't make either of these up. I just agree with them. Another theory that I saw was about Rickon. Not that he's a goat. Not the one that I sent you where it's like him
Yeah,
him talking
Ethan
about
sent
that
me
he's a goat.
something that's like Rickon is the goat, and it like shows all of the correlations between Rickon and a goat. And I think that's like the funniest thing I've ever seen, because I honestly Rickon sucks, but I love him
Oh,
so
okay. I
much.
was gonna say I love him. No.
He's awesome. I easily like top 3 characters in the show.
So the thing that I saw is that Rickon is an estranged Egan. Like, is that he's an Egan. And the reason
Okay.
that it points to that is that the Egans in Lumen are very similar to Christianity. Because you have Keir, who wrote his original book of like the tomes and like his rules and whatnot, and he had this plan for Lumen to eradicate pain. And Keir was generally a pretty good person from like what you can tell, minus a couple of things that he did. Like, I don't know if he was a good person, but he had good intentions. Because eradicating pain, I mean, that's pretty good. Um, and again, there could be something that I missed, and he could like beat somebody, and I wouldn't know, and that makes him a terrible person. But anyway, his entire thing is like eradicating pain, and he wrote this book, and Lumen has they still want to do like what he wants, but they've strayed away from his teachings. They're more doing it for themselves while invoking the name of Keir, but doing it for their own justification, gratitude, and wealth. Very similar to like the Catholic Church. Very similar to like a lot of pillars of Christianity. Rickon stands more as like a Christ figure in this, because he comes along and the innies get a hold of his book and they read it, and it gives them like a sense of like liberation. So the real parallels between it are that like Keir kind of has his Old Testament that the church is straight away from, and then Rickon implements like the New Testament, which is his book, and then the innies like learn it more, and they keep developing more to maybe get Lumen and everything back on the path of being a morally good company.
Okay,
I don't know.
Definitely, I don't know 100% how much I agree with that one.
Yeah,
I think that there's a possibility.
I was gonna say that one's more far fetched, but I like it. I think it would be cool because I love the parallels between like their like Lumen's like Old Testament and then Rickon's like New Testament.
I would be down for Rickon to die and then come back 3 days later. I think that'd be pretty funny.
They seal him in a tomb.
I think Severance at its core is secretly just a comedy show, and we
oh, it's funny
because but like I'm not laughing the whole time, but then I look back on it and I was like, that was pretty funny. And I like that scene right there, like the marching band scene. That's comedy gold. Like you could not make that up.
And then the jazz music part when Milchick does like this thing when he's like when he's walking towards the camera.
I love Milchick. He's so awesome.
Dude, I love him. And apparently during that scene, the actor who played Milchick said that they didn't know that the ceiling did that. Like they didn't know that the lights could go off like that. They just knew that it was
really?
like that scene wasn't originally in the script, but then it was when it was put in there, it was just called a music dance experience. Like that was the only thing. So whenever it started, he said all of our reactions are very genuine, and he said I didn't know what I wanted. He was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just started boogieing. And I was like, that's wonderful.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I love Milchick.
Yeah. Oh man, well I could talk about this show forever, Ben, but I think we've been going for like 30 minutes.
Have we really?
Yeah, do you have anything else you want to say about Severance before we kind of wane down into the Oh, also, one other thing. For those of you who don't know, it's directed by Ben Stiller. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah, that was like
this show.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, this show made
he's incredible.
It made me love Ben Stiller. Like I didn't know he had that much talent. Obviously, there's everyone else who's like going into it, but like he's like one of the. I think he's a producer or something like that on it. And have you seen the thing of them all in New York where they did a little promotional thing where all the actors were in the office? And you can see,
I did see that.
You can see Ben Stiller just outside. He's just like taking pictures on his phone, like a cute little dad. And it's like, it's so fun.
Yeah, the marketing for this movie has been crazy. This TV show is crazy.
Dude, I'd be down
like the
for
stuff
a movie.
that. Oh, oh my gosh, the stuff that Apple is doing for this, and which, by the way, I don't know what's going on right now, but I feel like every series on the Apple TV is kind of incredible, or at least all of their like top 5 series. Because I watched this, and I just recently watched Ted Lasso, and oh my gosh, that was so good. And then Shrinking's on there too, and that's another one of like my favorite shows of all time.
I gotta watch both of those.
Both are superb,
I
and like I don't remember what else is on their top 5. I'm sure they have other.
I'll take your word for it. But yeah, just oh my god, what a good show. If you haven't watched Severance and you're considering it now, like I cannot recommend this show enough. Like I would recommend this on the level that I recommend One Piece to people. And this one's like significantly less of a commitment than One Piece. So like it's just I honestly don't have a complaint about this show. I don't. I do not have a complaint. Do you have any?
I can't think of. Let me.
Because every show's got. I was gonna say every show's got its faults. There's a couple of times where I was a little bored. There were a couple times where I was a little bored. It's not like go or anything like that. But it's still like.
I feel like the slowness adds to it though.
Yeah,
I feel like
the monotony of work.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just overall just a fantastic show. I would like it.
I would agree.
Really is quite great.
It really is. But yeah. Well, Ben, I don't want to. I want to keep talking about this, but I know we'll probably talk about it into oblivion. But is there anything else you want to add onto this before we do a little sign off?
I think if I had to have a takeaway is that Mr. Milchick is the best.
He is. Him. Dude,
that's my man.
I want to do a podcast episode with one of the Severance workers, like one of the actors,
that would be so cool.
Just someone who worked on the show, so I can just get a better insight of like, we'll be talking about this a lot. Like I'll probably bring this up in a couple future episodes or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's about everything I had left to say.
Yeah. Well, Ben, do you want to give a quick little shout out to Chad H at the end of this episode?
Oh, hey, I just really quickly want to shout out my man, Chad Hankins. What a legend of a human being. Always happy to shout him out. Really, on the level of Chad Hankins is on human being level that Severance is on TV level, if that makes any sense in that analogy.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, Ben, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on this. So we could just talk about Severance for as long as we wanted to. But yeah. Well, everyone, thank you for coming to this episode of the Random Banter podcast. I really hope that the marching band music is playing under me talking right now, but if it's not, it might be the theme to Severance. I don't know.
Right.
We
never talked about the... Oh, wait. Okay,
hold on.
10 seconds.
Yeah, wait. Give us 10 seconds of your time. What?
The music in Severance is so good.
It is.
And that's all I wanted to say.
The chord progression, okay, hold on. I want to talk the chord progression in the main theme. It has a normal chord and then it has a split chord. Like if you listen to the chords, it's a normal chord, split chord, normal chord, split chord because it's the innie and then the outie and then the innie and the outie. It's so cool. Anyway, thanks for coming to this episode of the Random Banter podcast. This has been episode 80. Yeah, we're getting close to 100. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Woo!
I don't know
Almost
what I'm gonna
do. You're gonna buy the Eiffel Tower and
yes, sir.
record an episode there or something.
Yes, sir. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for coming on this episode, Ben.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for everyone who's listening, and thanks to you people who are watching. Next episode, I'll get a new webcam, so I'll be back up on my computer. But yeah, thanks for watching.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Bye.